Hey guys, welcome. It's Jake here from 10 to the Mayday, and I had the idea to do this video series called From Demo to Final Mix. And I think this might resonate with a lot of you at-home recorders, you songwriters that maybe you release music as a band or even as an individual, but you're pretty much the one that's doing everything. Even if you're not, even if you do have a band where you've got all the members and everybody does their part. In my situation, it's just me right now. We were once a band with actually five members, and we did play a few shows and stuff like that, but we live in an area where rock and metal is not very well received. It was tough to kind of find a scene, and then of course you start having issues with rehearsals and band members and all the stuff that happens when you're in a band. So that bummed me out for a while, but now, I've kind of readjusted my why. Sometimes you got to do that, and you know what? The songs are in me, so I'm going to get them out. And the way that I'm doing that now is I'll go ahead and do everything. So on this song, that's what happened. I programmed the drums, programmed the bass, programmed the synth parts, and recorded the guitars. And my wife and kids and I live in South America for a big portion of the year, and we happened to be down there when I did this song. And so all I had was my 7-string Mark Holcomb PRS guitar. So everything else is programmed. So we live in this amazing time where the plugins are just so incredible. So I want to show you the mix here. This is the mix that I sent to Robin, our singer, who lives in the United Kingdom. I found him online. He's an incredible rock and metal singer. Check out his channel. Just search for like Robin Adams vocal cover, something like that. You'll find dozens of his vocal covers as well as his original songs and original band. I think they're called Teller, and you can find them streaming on YouTube, all that stuff. So this is just the rough demo mix that I finally determined after listening and working on it for a couple months was quote done. But these are just the raw tracks that I programmed and recorded, and this is the session that I sent to Robin along with a little MP3 of my rough mix. So let me just show you the tracks here. So of course we've got our drums. So I used Get Good Drums One Kit Wonder Modern Fusion. I love this drum kit because to me it sounds really organic and real, like it really sounds like a real kit, like a drummer recorded it. It bugs me that for like the last 5 years, it seems like all the metal producers and mixing engineers are using the exact same drum samples on every freaking album, and like every album the drums sound exactly the same, and me and my buddies are always arguing about this, but I like to actually hear the drum kit. I don't know, they feel like soulless and sterile a little bit, and I felt like this kit had a lot of soul, and it really felt like somebody was in the room playing it, especially when you blend in the room mic. So that's what I programmed the drums on. Then for the guitars, we just have 2 left and 2 right, and those are panned kind of 100%. The left and right main are kind of the heavier, more distorted sound, and then panned at about 80% on both sides, I have just a barely dirty, much cleaner sound where I'm playing kind of complementary chords, or in some places just the same stuff, just an octave above, and then those are blended together. And I am using 2. Let me just go through the tracks, and I'll show you what I'm using. So these tracks are frozen, but you can see here on the guitars. So on the left ones, I'm using Archetype Gojira, the Neural DSP, and then on the right, I'm using the Archetype Soldano. And I prefer to use two different guitar tones on the left and right because I really feel like it makes the guitar sound a lot bigger. I know I heard Rick Beato say that like mixing engineers call, when you have the exact same guitar tone on both sides, what happens is it sums into what they call big mono. And I don't want that. I want you to be able to throw headphones on and hear 2 different guitar sounds. It makes it way bigger. So that's why I used the two different amps. And then, because I was using the same guitar for all these guitar tracks, so I had to change the amps. And then I'm also using Cali cab, sorry, on the right guitars. Then if we go over here, there's clean guitars, clean left, clean right. I just double tracked the clean guitars. Then we've got these accent parts where I was using kind of volume swells to complement the quiet parts of the song and make it more atmospheric. Then I have the guitar solo, which is Archetype Gojira, and I also use the phaser on that plugin and also the sub octave. It's got a whammy pedal, so I just blended in a sub octave. And if you've got headphones, you'll be able to hear it. Then we get into some of the synths here. So I used Massive X for all these synth sounds, and these are just stock sounds that I found. I don't even know how to go in there and change the stuff. So all these plugins, I think, are $100 or less. So it's a really amazing time to be an at-home musician. And then you'll hear all my scratch vocals on this as well. Oh yeah, for the bass. So I used a Umansky bass, and I have a grit channel and a clean channel. And those are blended together. Even on my demo mix, I was blending them to try to get them to sound the way I wanted. And so when I sent him this session, he could see how I had them blended and how I wanted them to sound. So let me go ahead and play through these, play through this song. So this song, I want you to know, now let me just play it and then we'll go through mix one. So this is the session that I sent to Robin to record my vocals, my melodies, my words, exactly as I have them on this, except him doing with his voice, and except for the first time through the bridge, and then for him to mix. Things coming, trying to steal my joy, trying to shift my focus and make me paranoid. But I can always trust you, we're headed somewhere good. I won't be a victim. So let me let you hear these rhythm guitars. So this is something that I like to do. I've got a delay pedal before the distortion, and that it's a different sound than having it, you know, after in the effects loop, like you would maybe for a more traditional kind of solo sound where you just got a little smooth delay on there. When you put it in front, it really makes this, it creates these kind of, it starts to delay and harmonize with itself. And so I put on the left side, it's a quarter note delay, and then on the right, it's a dotted quarter on the left, I think, and then an eighth note delay on the right. And that was just another way I wanted the guitars and the verses to just sound kind of unique and more interesting than just regular, you know, nothing on it. So let me just solo these so you can hear them together. So right there, when it gets into the chorus, I recorded all this one take and would just kick the delay off and play through the chorus, so it felt like, you know, it had some continuity and was less choppy. Let's go back to it. Oh, you are with me through the storm. The worst things we have withstood. Seen in every moment So the second verse there, I just added a couple more elements. The little synth part comes in during the second half of it, and then the drums get more driving and the bass gets more driving. I like to have a little discrepancy between each verse just to add a little element of interest, just to keep the listener engaged. And then I do want to point out, so this song was originally called Through the Storm, and I put those, there's a couple bars there you probably heard of odd time signature or odd meter. There's a bar of 6/4 and a bar of 7/4 in each kind of musical interlude between the verses. And I did that as a way to represent kind of being tossed about in a storm. So if you don't know how to count time, those sections you're going to be thinking, where is the one? And you're going to be kind of thrown off. And then when we get back to the verse, there's 2 bars of 4/4 to transition out of the interlude back into the verse to kind of settle the listener back in. And just part of the vision of the song was in the verses, especially the first verse, where those rhythm guitars, you can hear the chords decay, and then the bass and the drums kind of carry it, so you can really focus on the vocals. I really wanted people to hear the words of this song because they're super personal and meaningful, and I wanted them to hit the listener. My vision with a song is almost always to rock someone's face off, but also have meaningful, thoughtful lyrics that the listener can kind of personalize, imagine what it means to them. And that way the song can be really meaningful. I mean, my favorite music rocks me and the words mean something to me. So anyway, that's kind of what we're about as a band. If you haven't checked out our other songs up on the channel, Too Many Dreams and The Haunted, check out those lyric videos when you get done with this one. I think you'll enjoy them. So let me get back.
And I won't be defeated, and I won't be denied, and I won't be a victim. My tears are a battle cry, and you're with me. Oh,
love that part.
You are with me through the storm.
So I want you guys to hear a couple things on this second chorus. So here, let me solo a couple of these songs. Chorus lead work, chorus synth. Okay. Okay. So here, I'll play the chorus lead work by itself first. So you can hear that's got some modulation. That's the archetype Gojira. And then if I add in the chorus synth, listen to them together. So I wanted to play those together. These are not mind-blowingly difficult parts, but the guitar is kind of completing the top of the chords. So I'm playing power chords, on the rhythm guitars, and this kind of adds the third in there, and that's an ascending line. And so over here in the synth, it's a descending line, and that's just a simple little thing called contrary motion. So that just makes the chorus sound bigger. I'll go ahead and unsolo those and
I won't be defeated. You're with me. Oh, you are with.
so right there, second chorus is twice as long, but then in the first half we got different lyrics, so that catches your ear. Different lyrics than the first chorus, and then the second half of it, the drums switch to halftime. So I love it when using the drums to change the feel, where everything else stays the same, but the drums change, and it'll even affect like the way you want to move your body. Like you're like nodding like this, and then it goes to halftime and you're like, you know, you feel it a little bit more. I love halftime. I feel like it makes everything groove harder. Like metal bands, when they go to halftime, I absolutely love it. I'd lose my mind. So, and then we're getting into the guitar solo here.
The storm, we're gonna make it through. When the season seems so long and the way too much to bear, I remember.
So the song comes way
who I was
down here.
made to be.
The song's meant to kind of take you on a journey of
My
dynamics.
voice is cutting through, they'll never silence.
So we bring it way down here, and then we're going to slowly build back up to another kind of climax.
Me. I know we're headed for somewhere good. When the season seems
So there the clean rhythm guitars come in, and they, again, I put that delay pedal before the amp, and I like hit a chord real hard so you can hear the delay. So listen for those.
so long and the way too much to bear, I remember who I was made to be. My voice is cutting through, they'll never silence me, and I know we're headed for somewhere good. Hey, and I won't be defeated.
So bass, rhythm guitars, and another little guitar lead part come in right here, and I'm using an EBow on that.
I won't be denied, and I won't be a victim. My tears are a battle cry, and I won't be defeated. I won't be denied. My tears are a battle cry.
So this is a drum break, and is meant to kick ass. Meant to let you know that the drummer can play, even though I programmed it. It's not so hard that a drummer can't play it. And I always imagined that, so there's my three favorite drummers are my buddy Jeff that lives in Seattle. He's a professional musician out there, musician, Jeff Gall, and then Mike Portnoy and Jimmy Chamberlain. So I texted Jeff when I think it was mix 1 or 2 of this song. I sent in the song, and I said that Jeff Portnoy-Chamberlain was on drums. So when you hear these fills, if you're familiar with Mike Portnoy, it totally sounds like Mike Portnoy fills. There's the Portnoy.
And I won't be defeated, and I won't be denied, and I won't be a victim. My tears are a battle cry, 'cause you're with me. Oh, you are with me through the storm. We're gonna make it through.
So that's the demo mix. The song was written on an acoustic, but then, of course, when you get in Logic and program drums and begin to envision it as a rock song, that's what it became. And before I play you mix 1, I just want to talk to the guitar players out there. You know, there's just so much searching for, quote, good guitar tone, and I know I was led by fear for a long time. Like, I was not finishing songs because I wasn't convinced my guitar tone was good. And so, just practically speaking, if you these tracks are frozen, so I can't open up Archetype Gojira, but let's say you have Archetype Gojira. This is what I do. Key number 1 is the way I can tell a guitar tone is not from a real amp is the hiss on the top and the honky, unusable bottom end down here. And so a trick that I've found is if you take, when you open the plugin up, take the input down to about 10 o'clock or 10:30, because when you open it, it's over here about 1 o'clock. Take it back, and I'm telling you, the hiss goes away and the honk goes away. And then from there, I set this is not really metal, this is rock. So on the Gojira plugin, I use the second to gainiest amp. So not the full metal insane amp all the way to the right, but the other one, the one in from that. And then I put the gain on 12, and I put all the controls on 12, and I turned off the post EQ. And then I literally just kind of messed with it until I thought it sounded good. So these plugins are so good that if you can get rid of the high-end hiss and the bottom-end honk, and you don't have too much gain, and you can hear the notes, it's gonna sound good. And then when I get it sounding good there, I usually will cut a little more bass out because I don't want to walk on the bass frequencies, and then I will turn on the post EQ, and I'll really cut out low frequencies, and that's all I do. So if you think these guitars sound good, especially when we get into the like mix 2, that's all I did. So I would say don't let yourself get paralyzed because of the whole search for guitar tone. If you've got a decent, ability in your fingers, and you can play a little bit, if you kind of just follow that, it's gonna sound good. Clean sounds, I usually warm up, add more mids, add more bass, but a distorted rock guitar sound, I don't have a lot of bass in it, and there's not a ton of gain. Like the Soldano amp, it was the same thing. It was not the gainiest channel, but the second gainiest channel, set to about 12 or 1230. And then you just change the cabinet. The cabinet is what's going to change your tone the most. So that's why I use Cali cabs, which is another Get Good Drums product, on the right, and just the stock cabs on the left, because that's going to make them sound different, which makes your guitar sound bigger. So I just wanted to say that. So yeah, let's get into mix 1. I'll go ahead and solo this and get ready to play it. So what I was going for is just to keep the verses dynamic, the second verse to be more powerful than the first, and to really feel that build into the second chorus. And then when it drops down to just piano and vocals on the bridge, I wanted that build to be gradual. And those were kind of my main goals, because I want people to hear the words on this song. So here is mix 1. So this is the first time I got to hear it with Robin on vocals. So this was the most exciting, because I'm the one that wrote the song and played everything and worked on it. So when it's like handing your baby off, and then when Robin sings it, the quality of the song just goes up many, many levels. So check it out. This is a song to carry me, mix 1. So you're going to hear that it needs work. But you'll get to hear Robin's vocal. It's already sounding like a rock song.
Trying to steal my joy, trying to shift my focus and leave me paranoid. But I can always trust you. We're heading somewhere good. I won't be a victim. Worst things we have withstood. 'Cause you're with me. Oh, you are with me through the storm.
So before I finish the rest of the song, I want to point out, you can barely hear the guitar solo. So obvious note number one, you can't hear the guitar solo. And then for the whole song, the rhythm guitars are way too loud. There's not the dynamics that I wanted in the rhythm guitar. So we'll finish it out, and then I'll show you the notes that I sent back to him.
When the season seems so long and the way too much to bear, I remember who I was made to be.
So this is my vocal that I asked him to leave on the first time through the bridge. So it's kind of like a cameo of the songwriter. Anyway, like I said, I like my voice with pretty stuff, but not with rock.
My voice is cutting through, they'll never silence me. I know we're headed for somewhere good. When the season seems so long and the way too much to bear, I remember who I was made to be. My voice is cutting through, they'll never silence me, and I know we're headed for somewhere good. Hey! And I won't be defeated, and I won't be denied, and I won't be a victim. My tears are battle cry. I won't be defeated, I won't be denied, and I won't be a victim. My tears are battle cry. And I won't be defeated, and I won't be denied, and I won't be a victim. My tears are a battle cry. 'Cause you're with me, oh, you are with me through the storm. We're gonna make it through.
All right, so let me cue up mix 2 here. But I want to show you guys the notes that I sent Robin. So this is the software he uses to send mixes, and you can comment right on it. So big things, rhythm guitars, way too loud. It sounded to me like there was some compression on them. And if you don't know what compression is, it's going to take your low parts. If this is the middle line of volume, it takes your low parts up and brings your high parts down so that things are constant, which is super useful. But on these verses, I really wanted to hear the decay of those chords and for them to kind of get out of the way by the time the next chord comes. So let me just go over my notes here so you can see me here. So at 8 seconds, I said, hey man, let's bring the low synth up. So I felt so that part actually has 3 synths. One of them is that bow thing at the bottom, and I didn't think it was loud enough compared to the 2 upper synths. And then also on the intro, that synth part is meant to be the lead part, the that little part, and it was buried in the mix just like the guitar solo was. So bring that up, and I said same thing after the first chorus when that section repeats. And then here I kind of just hit him with kind of reiterating the concept of what I wanted from the mix. So I want the song to be very dynamic. The verse is chill and atmospheric, kind of carried by the bass and drums, with the guitar being more of atmosphere on the verses. Then the guitar is bigger and more focused in the choruses. I recorded the rhythm guitars with lots of dynamics on the volume knob, and it kind of sounds like that has gotten lost. So that was very important to me. And the tone sounds awesome. The guitars, I thought, sounded killer. They were just way too loud and not dynamic enough. And then I said, oh yeah, so on the bridge part, the kick drum is still really loud, and that dynamically it didn't make sense to have a super loud kick drum on the super quiet bridge. Is there any way to spread where the synth and the guitar lead part are on the choruses? Yeah, I felt like on this mix, the and then the guitar part were like fighting rather than spaced where you could hear them both. If we could have those guitars fade out more quickly here as the second verse begins. Again, that was me just really wanting the guitars to be out of the way on the first verse and the first half of the second verse. 201, the rhythm guitars on the choruses and under the guitar solo can come down a significant amount so that the vocals and guitar solo can soar. And then here we got guitar solo difficult to hear. Whatever we need to do to the instrument mix so that the solo can be heard at a lead level. Bring the main bridge keyboard up here under the vocal and bring up the clean guitars. So I really wanted people to hear those different timed delays on the guitar chords in the bridge. And then I felt like compared to the vocal, that piano part was not loud enough. When the distorted, here's another, most of my comments are dynamics related. When the distorted guitars come in here, can they build rather than come in full volume? Their dynamics need to match like the snare build each time. Because when I program the drums, you know, the velocities or the volumes on the hits start out real quiet and build just like a real drummer would. And I felt like the guitars didn't do that, even though I played them that way. So I just felt like whatever he had put on the rhythm guitars took away all the dynamics. So you'll see that theme in my mix notes on both mixes. Rhythm guitars quieter so the drum fills can really feature. So on that drum break, I really wanted the drums to crush you and those rhythm guitars to kind of be out of the way. And then at 411, yeah, rhythm guitars down. And it's interesting, I mean, I'm a guitar player first and foremost, so to me, it cracks me up because it shows how much I've grown, because a few years ago, I would never ask to bring the guitars down, but it was really hurting the way the mix came across. So let me close this, and then episode 1 here, we'll end it by listening to mix 2. So I hope you guys are enjoying this. And next time we'll go over my mix 2 notes, and we'll listen to mix 3 and then the final mastered mix. And we'll talk, this time we kind of went in depth into the instruments and the plugins I used and stuff like that. But next time I wanna go over a little bit of the backstory of the song, and then the lyrics, what they mean to me, and then you can decide what they mean to you. And you'll get to hear the final mastered version of the song. So I am gonna go ahead and play you mix 2, which is a big improvement on mix 1, and then we'll end this video.
So many things come in, trying to steal my
So you can really hear both the synth part and the lead guitar part on the choruses there. He's brought the rhythm guitars way down. They're still not as low or as dynamic as they need to be, but from mix 1, it's just a massive improvement.
And you're with me, oh, you are with me through the storm. We're gonna make it through.
Now you can actually hear the guitar solo. And the way too much to bear. So you can hear he's brought that piano up.
I remember who I was made to be. My voice is cutting through. They'll never silence me. I know we're headed for somewhere good. When the season seems so long and the way too much to bear.
So those clean guitars are much louder, so you can really hear the ba 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 and then the ba ba ba. One of those is eighth notes and one is dotted quarters.
I remember who I was made to be. My voice is cutting.
You can hear how loud that kick drum is. He didn't get the kick drum brought down like I asked him to, but I think that gets fixed in mix 3.
True, they'll never silence me, and I know we're headed for somewhere good. Hey! And I won't be defeated, and I won't be denied, and I won't be a victim. My tears are a battle cry. I won't be defeated.
Yeah, so that's mix 2. And at the beginning of next episode, I'll go over my mix 2 notes, and then we'll listen to mix 3. I'll show you my notes on mix 3, and then we'll get to hear the final mix with mastering on it and everything, the one that's going to go up on streaming platforms and be with the lyric video and all that. So I hope you guys are enjoying that, and I know I'm enjoying it, and I hope it was useful. And next time we'll get into the lyrics a little bit and what the song means to me, as well as those final mixes. So see you guys later.